All right, let's jump right in. The title of today's explainer is Learning English in France. I know. It sounds completely backwards, right? But you're going to want to stick around for this one because the idea behind it is actually pretty fascinating. So let's just get straight to the big question. If you really want to master English, should you be booking a flight to France? It seems totally counterintuitive, I get it. But what if I told you it might just be one of the best ways to learn? Okay, first up, a surprising destination. Yeah, this whole idea sounds a bit weird, but it wasn't just pulled out of thin air. It was created for a very specific reason, to solve a really common problem that a lot of us have faced when trying to learn a new language. So what exactly was the problem they were trying to fix? Well, it was all about tackling the major downsides of those traditional language trips. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? You're stuck in a big group. You barely get a chance to actually speak the language. This program was designed to be the complete opposite of that. And honestly, the difference between these two approaches is just night and day. On one hand, you have the old way, these generic classroom-style group trips. But on the other hand, with this model, you get total family immersion. We're talking personal, one-on-one attention and constant, real-world conversation. Let's move on to the core idea here, the immersion philosophy. So what's the secret sauce? What really makes this work? Well, it's all built on a philosophy with two key parts that make the whole experience so powerful. And that big idea is total immersion. Look, this isn't about sitting down for a few scheduled lessons, no. This is about living the language. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, every chat, every meal, every single thing you do, it all happens in English. You can see here that this approach is perfectly balanced. It's built on two equal halves. 50% is that full-on language immersion we just talked about, but the other 50%, and this is just as crucial, is about family and cultural discovery. It's about experiencing a whole new lifestyle, not just learning a bunch of new words. This quote, this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The goal is to be welcomed by a famille d'adoption, which literally means an adoption family. You're not just a tourist or a student staying in a room. You're being welcomed in, becoming a real part of the family for the week. It's about that genuine connection. Which brings us to our next point. This is more than a language. Because once you have that family connection, the whole experience transforms into something way bigger than just learning vocab and grammar. And this is where it gets really personal. Forget about some generic one-size-fits-all plan. Here, the host families themselves share their own passions and interests with you. They build the activities around what they love to do. That's what makes it feel so natural and comfortable. It's truly tailored just for you. So what could that actually look like? Well, one week you could be exploring local markets and learning to cook a French meal. The next, you might be sailing on the Brittany coast or maybe discovering art museums in Paris, or even hiking through the Alps. It all depends on the family you're with and what they're passionate about. So you see, you're not just stuck in some boring classroom. You're actually out there, discovering a new culture, a new way of life, and a gorgeous part of France. And the craziest part? You're doing it all while speaking English. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Okay, section 4, the formula for success. This all sounds great, but how do they pull it off? How do they make sure it's a great experience every single time? Well, it all comes down to a simple two-part formula. Here's the secret sauce. Step 1 is finding the perfect host family. I mean, their quality and how well they fit is absolutely critical. And step 2 is the expert guide. Think of them as a specialist, a matchmaker who connects the right student with that perfect family. So let's dig into that first step a little more. Why is that match so incredibly important? Because when you connect a student with a family that shares their interests and personality, it stops feeling like a chore. It stops being a lesson. Instead, it sparks a real, genuine curiosity and love for the language. And that second step, the guide, they're so much more than just a travel agent. They have to be like an expert profiler. They need to really get to know the student, their personality, what they need, how they learn, so they can make that perfect match. They're the ones who find the family that's going to create that spark. Now, you might be thinking this is just a program for kids or teenagers, right? But actually, the appeal is way broader than that. Which brings us to our last section, a lesson for everyone. So who is this actually for? Well, sure, it's great for kids who need that total immersion experience, but it's also perfect for adults who just want to brush up on their English, or really for anyone who wants to discover France in a totally unique way. The main point is everyone is welcome. There are no age limits here. And for anyone who feels nervous about speaking, this quote says it all. Your caring hosts will show you that you always end up being understood. That's the promise. It's about taking away the fear and creating a place where you feel safe to try and to make mistakes. And you know what? That's the real goal here. The ultimate prize isn't perfect grammar. It's something way more important. It's about helping you find the confidence you've been missing. The confidence to just speak freely and without being afraid. So let's leave you with this final thought. We started this whole explainer by asking if you should go to France to learn English. But maybe that was the wrong question all along. What if the best way to truly learn a language has nothing to do with where you are, but everything to do with who you're with?